Hi, it's Roxanne and welcome to RoxTalks. I'm so excited because we are in San Diego. Woo! If you remember from season 2, my good friend Tonia Ranco was on. Of course, she's a YouTube makeup artist, star, lotta. And we're actually here because I am turning 40. Oh my gosh, I said the number. That's right, woo! And so I thought it was a good time, as I am now in a new protected class, I've been told, to talk about some
that
good.
sounds serious.
I know, right? To have Tonia tell us about some great tips when it comes to makeup. And Tonia, thank you for coming, by the way.
You're welcome. Anything for you.
Oh, see, now she's sounding sweet because she's on camera. So, Tonia, it's interesting, and one of the things I love about you, just to remind everyone who you are, what you do, you're in Austin, Texas, you're a fitness enthusiast and expert, but you also have a love for makeup.
I love all things makeup, fashion, beauty, just anything. But yes, I have a passion for makeup.
And not only do you have a passion for it, you're really just dang good at it.
Well, thank you. She's biased, by the way.
I'm biased, but
thank you.
I tell the real. So tell me what you have for us today and what we're going to be talking about.
So what we're going to do is start with skincare. I'm going to show you some products that I like to use, some products that have great reviews all around, and then we're going to go into foundation. I'm going to show you some foundation tips, give you some tips how to apply concealer for more mature skin, and then we'll go into the face and do some fun stuff.
Yay, let's play. Let's do it.
So we ready to start?
Yes, let's start. So you said
right.
the first thing you start with is skincare.
So skincare is the most important. I think I always get stopped and people ask me, what do you use on your skin? So, I know genes play a lot into it, right? Thank you, Mom, for great genes. But it's definitely skincare. So what I like to use is, most of my products you're going to find are Lancome. I love Lancome. I'm going to start with their serum. I use their serum, and then I also use, the only thing I don't use that's not Lancome is Clinique. I use this Clinique vitamin C oil. So what I do is I take the serum, and I have my small little travel sizes.
Never leave home without it, right?
So just FYI. And what I do is just a little goes a long way with this stuff.
So you've washed the face. I'm face ready.
So she's this is on a clean face, obviously, right? And then we just kind of rub that in.
I like to call it naked face.
A naked face, yes, a beautiful naked face. So dirty.
I know. So face washed, I've toned, I've put on my little.
So at home sometimes too, what I do is I take the serum and I'll put a little bit of a dab in my hand, and then I also take this vitamin C oil. So what you do is you give it a couple of pumps right there at the bottom, you'll see, and then you just shake it up really good, and then what you do is just dispense like a little bit in your hand.
Okay.
And I love this stuff. I love to mix it actually with the serum. And your skin is just gonna start feeling and looking amazing with this vitamin C oil. It is so awesome. I can't even tell you. When I run out of it, I can tell with my skin.
It makes that much of a difference.
It makes that much of a difference. Like a lot of products you can't really tell, but this one you can. And it's just so awesome. Doesn't that feel nice?
It does feel nice. It smells good too.
Yeah, it feels good.
It smells
good.
good.
So then the next thing what I would do is go into the eye cream. So as you get older, Roxanne,
more mature.
Welcome to the more mature people. We'll send you an email welcoming to the club.
Do I get a membership card?
It's very important that you use an eye cream. And again, I'm using Lancome. And so I put a little bit in my hand. And you want to be just really ever so careful applying it under your eyes. So what I like to do is I take either this finger or my middle finger.
This one, the ring finger?
And I just kind of tap it around. And I even go up into here, right? So some people just kind of they wipe and like that. You don't want to do that. You want to tap.
Because it's the most sensitive area.
Yeah, that's the most sensitive area. And I feel and I'm told that that really gets it seeping into the skin better, more so than doing wiping motions or circling motions.
It's too harsh on the skin.
And again, I'm not a professional, so don't
be
sending
what are you
us
touching
no
me
emails.
for?
She's doing that wrong.
What?
I'm just showing you what has worked for me.
Oh,
all right.
That's a disclaimer if I've ever heard of one.
Yeah, it's kind of a disclaimer. Yeah, because I don't want anybody writing in saying she's not a professional.
I'm gonna write in tomorrow.
And then you're going to go in right into moisturizer. Again, Lancome. So you use a little bit of that. And I have one that I use in the morning that has SPF in it. So you want that. And then I have one that I use at night that's going to help prevent and put those wrinkles at bay.
Wrinkles. Black doesn't crack. I don't get wrinkles.
Don't listen to that.
But it sounds good.
It does sound good, and it rhymes.
Yes, it does.
Does it rhyme?
It rhymes. I have some friends in Orange County, and they say that Asian doesn't raisin. I'm like, that's genius too.
Wow,
I know.
good.
That's better than black doesn't crack.
That's good. All right, now my new favorite thing, again, Lancome. Now this one's kind of pricey, so it's just, you don't have to have it. It's my new favorite thing that I found. This is the Lancome Visionary 1 Minute Blur, and I use it as a primer. It feels so amazing.
So let's talk about primer, because as we get older, primer, it's funny, I laugh when I see like 20-somethings use primer, because I'm like, that's cute, but you probably don't need it.
Yeah.
But as you get older, makeup starts to just like slide off your face. What's that about?
It does, and I think the primer helps like keep everything like locked together, keeps it together as a family. And but this Visionary Blur, I've used several primers. Fenty Beauty makes a wonderful primer that I use a lot, but I've just found this one. I want to say this is new to me. Like, I've only been using it for like a couple of weeks, but it's really, really good. It feels good. And this is supposed to give you that flawless kind of airbrushed kind of feeling.
Instagram
feel. Now, you may not look it immediately, but I think when you apply this stuff, so I always like to start applying it like under my eye. And again, I actually put a little bit too much, but a little bit of this goes a long way. And this stuff, you can just wear it by itself. And I just love this so much. It just feels good.
So how long would you say it takes for you to do the skincare portion of your regimen on a morning basis?
Not very long. You're gonna get you find your rhythm, you get down your staples and what you normally are gonna use, what you like to use, and it's just gonna take you a couple minutes. Like, seriously. Obviously, we're taking our time here to like talk you through it and then give you a little more in-depth feel to it, but it's not all of this, and that's it. You're done with your skincare.
And the reason for skincare is really, like, makeup can cover anything, but why make it? Like, if you have a good base or a landscape or canvas.
You got to start with a good base. And the primer is only going to make your foundation stay better, and also you have to have a primer if you're oily. If you have oily skin, you've got to find a good primer.
Just slide
baby,
right off.
You're gonna be baking. Yeah, you have to find a good primer. All right, so now you've gotten your skincare, you're feeling good, you got your little glow going on, right?
Am I glowing?
A very youthful glow to you.
Good.
Yes, that is correct.
Do I look like 39 and a half now?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
good.
So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna move into foundation. So I'm using MAC. I love MAC foundation. I love Fenty Beauty. Those are the two that I like. So what I'm doing now is I'm putting that on a sponge. What you can use a brush. When I'm in a hurry, sometimes I use a brush, but I feel like I get a more flawless finish using a sponge. And you want to wet it. So I like to clean my sponge right before I use it, and then I kind of squeeze out a lot of the excess moisture in it. So that way I'm starting with a clean sponge, and also it's wet like I need it to be, right?
So the beauty blender?
Sense. Yeah.
One of those little egg things.
Yeah, and you can find these anywhere. They're pretty affordable. Even if you don't, you could find what do they call those things? Those little square things that you can get like at Walgreens. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. In a packet.
In the little packet. You can use those as well. But I like the beauty sponge, and all beauty sponges aren't created equal.
Really?
No, they're not. So this one that I'm using right now is Tarte, and I have to say it's probably my favorite.
Really? Why?
Just because it really washes well. It feels so it just, the feel of it is different. The feel of it is different. And I've had this sponge for a while. Like, and it's still like new.
Wow. You said something I think people forget often. When you have a sponge, you actually have to clean it.
You have to clean your sponge. Yes.
How often do you
apply
recommend?
A little bit more. Yes, you have to clean your sponge. I clean it every day.
You clean yours every day?
Yeah. If I use foundation every day, I clean it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I literally try to get into the habit of cleaning it right before I'm about to use it.
How do you clean it? Because that's
just run it under water. I want it under like super hot water.
Mm-hmm.
And then I use, the best cleaner for me is actually, Ben, you're gonna think this is funny, is like the cheapest dish cleaner. The cheapest dish cleaner. That has I use that to clean my brushes. I use that to clean my sponges.
And it works like a charm.
And it works awesome. I've purchased the most expensive like makeup brush cleaner. Mm-hmm. Even like MAC. MAC makes a good one, but I still don't think it's as good as using the dishwashing.
Like going to
liquid.
Target and getting their brand. Like
literally dishwashing liquid.
Okay.
Seriously. It's the best. It is seriously the best.
And then you let it dry? The sponge, or?
It's only drying when I'm not using it.
Yeah.
So like this one, after we're done, I'll just leave it out to dry.
Uh-huh.
And then the next day, it's super dry and I'm ready to clean it again because I'm ready to use it again.
Got it.
Right?
And that moisture in it is good for putting on the foundation?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Got it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great for that. So another thing that I like to do after I've kind of done this, I like to set the foundation. So what I'll do is, I'm just making sure I'm done here. So the next thing, what I'll do is I'll take Fix Plus. This is like from MAC.
Oh, you've told me about that before.
And you can actually use this after you've done your foundation, or you can use it, and I also use it after I've done all of my makeup to set my makeup. But I've really been enjoying it, using it after my foundation, because I feel like it really sets everything in. And also if you have oily skin, it's another protection to kind of prevent you having to touch up all day, so to speak. So you just kind of hold it back like this. And it feels good.
That's cool though.
And
Woo!
they actually have this in different scents. I was gonna say flavors, but I mean, I guess that's
like
the same thing.
Kind of...
Like coconut and
no.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know which one I have. I think I just have the regular one now.
That's good.
So you just kind of want to let that dry. I usually have like a little, but my towel's in use right now. You
have like
a little
Taco
towel,
Tuesday?
and I just kind of like fan myself to kind of make it dry.
Do they have like Taco Tuesday scents, or how deep do they?
They do not have taco scents. No, they do not. You are out of luck there. They do not have taco scents.
I'll talk to them about that.
Don't. All right, so how do you feel? Do you feel like that's dry, or you feel like it's still wet on you?
I feel like it's dry.
Okay. All right. So the second step you're gonna do. So now you haven't used concealer before, right?
No. Do I need to conceal?
Oh, you're in that new
when
box.
I was younger and I just thought it was cool, I think I concealed, but I'm in the new box.
You're in the new box.
I'm in the new box.
Yeah, you're in the new box. So
Okay.
you need to conceal.
All right.
So I would say, so here's where it gets tricky. So as you get older, I think people think they can still use concealer the old way that they used to use it when they were like 20s and 30s, and then you see like the other YouTubers and they're slapping on all that concealer and slapping on all that powder. So you think you can do that? You cannot do that. No, you're done. You're done with that step, right? So your technique's going to change a little bit. So what you do is, I like Tarte concealer. Now Tarte, this is a full coverage concealer. This is a no mess around, you want to cuff stuff up concealer. Right? So if you want a lighter, you could actually use a lighter concealer. If you want a lighter concealer, I like NARS Creamy Radiant. That's probably my favorite and my go-to. I usually use that during the day. That's a really user-friendly concealer. It's creamy, but not too creamy. It sets well, but it's not too thick, if that makes sense, if you're familiar with concealers. But yeah, so we're going to use what I just have today on you.
Now,
and that's Tarte, and it's in this shade is deep, if you're wanting to know like what shade this is.
Now, how is the technique different, since my skin is not a 20-some-year-old skin anymore?
Well, less is more, right? So what I like to do is like go under, and I'm still making the V that you're used to. So like a lot of people would do like the big V and then they slab on a lot of the concealer, right? So I'm just doing a little one, right? So I just do like a little V here underneath the eyes. And then what I also like to do is kind of go like on the side right there.
The jowls.
But again, that's where I get like really oily. So I like to do that because I'm really oily there. So then you can take, I usually like to use a smaller beauty sponge. I had one, but it faced an untimely death. It fell over the balcony. So what we're gonna do is still use this same one. I'm just gonna go to this clean side that I haven't even touched yet, right? And so I'm gonna I start here. I like to start at the bottom part because I'm still kind of letting that set in. So I'm not really in a hurry to get there yet. So I don't know if you can tell, but like even like around here, that already looks like tons better, right? It's looking like even more flawless. So right there, and then I even go kind of like around, just all around the mouth. So just kind of really getting these areas here, right? And the sponge is really gonna help to make it like really seep into the skin. So now you're going to the eyes. So the thing is, so a lot of people will start and then they start pushing the concealer up. So that's what you don't wanna do. So most of the product is here, right? So what I'm gonna do is push that out, right? So I'm not pushing most of the product up into like where you would have, she doesn't have any, so you can't really tell, but not into if you had wrinkles there, right? So you're not pushing most of the product up there. So I'm just kind of pushing it out first, and then I'll go up, like slowly work it up. Now again, I like to use a smaller beauty blender when I'm doing this. So look up, let me see. Yeah, look up. I like to use a smaller beauty blender, or you could take a brush, a smaller brush, like you could even use like a makeup brush. So you could even use like a makeup brush, just like that, a clean one, right? So that way you can get really under there. So to do this side, if you're gonna use the brush, right? You still wanna like kind of go out. So you see like with the brush here, you kind of have to work with it a little bit more, which is why I like the sponge. So I would go in with the brush after you've done the sponge, but you're gonna see, I'm just gonna show you that it still gets the job done.
I love that we're out on the beach in Mission Beach and you got the dog barking.
We got a lot happening
We
here,
got a
people.
lot. I love it. Don't hate us because we're at the beach.
Just gonna set that in, look up. There you go. You can tell Roxanne's not used to getting her makeup done.
True, and then like the sun, let's be real, is like, whoa. I'm not complaining.
Okay, so see how nice that looks? And then what I like to do is take the excess. So instead of when you see like the YouTubers and they're like piling on the concealer, like right here in the middle of their forehead or here, they've got like tons of slabs of concealer. I don't like to do that. I like to take the excess of what I have on my sponge and then kind of go there. So you do want to kind of lighten up this area, and this area, but you can easily do that with just the excess left from your sponge. So that way you don't end up looking like so crazy.
Now, why don't we, I know you say do it differently, but why can't we slather it all on?
Well, I think so when you have like, more mature skin, all right, you're gonna have lines that things can settle into, right? So you don't want that. Okay, so next we're gonna move into powder. So now you see I put the concealer underneath. So you wanna set that concealer. If you're oily, I think if you're dry, you wanna use like very little powder. But you wanna use the trick is to use a good translucent powder that's close to your skin tone, right? So if I used like a really, really white, cakey one, that's how you would look in photos.
Ashy.
And ashy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the one that I'm using, it's a Laura Mercier, and it's the darker of the powders that they have. And again, I have my little travel size one here. And so
so
what I do
prepared.
is put a little bit underneath. Again, less is more, right? So you don't want to like pile on all the powder. You'll see like the other YouTubers like really like caking the powder on and letting it bake. So baking is when you just let it sit there, right? And then you wipe it off later. Don't do that. So when you get of a certain age, that's probably not your friend anymore.
So of the YouTube makeup artists, how many of them are showing techniques for the more mature skin? Are there a lot of them?
Not a whole lot of them.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately, it's not a whole lot of them that show that. It's really, it's almost kind of like it's kind of difficult to find, and it shouldn't be. So, but you know, I don't like that as much, that it's harder to find it.
I'm glad you've made that a mission of yours. Do you feel like you're focusing on that more now, or is that something
I
you've
feel
always
like
focused
now
on?
I'm more focused on it, because I get a lot of people that are like, well, what do you do when you're this age, or blah blah blah, and then I tell them my age, and they're like, what? You are? You should totally focus on that. So yeah, I'm trying to focus on that more on my channel. So we put the powder like underneath, and so what you're going to do also is get a powder that's your skin tone. So a powder that's equal to the color of the foundation that you used. So that's what I'm using. So I'm using, again, a MAC powder. And so now I'm just going to set the whole face. So you just want to pat that in. You still want to have a nice glow, but you don't want to look, again, you don't want to look super shiny. And especially if you have oily skin, right? So you really want, powder is definitely your friend. Oh, and that airplane is definitely not our friend right now. That is not our friend. I think so.
That's what we get for doing it like live
Right.
on the beach, but
that
you know, I'll take the beach any day.
All right, so now to move into some fun stuff. So, okay, yeah, you're older, but you still want to look cute. You want to look hip. You like beauty too. You like color. You don't have to forego that part of it. You can still like use color. You just have to know how to use it. So my favorite products are Fenty Beauty. You've heard me talk about that. I love all of their kilowatt palettes because you can use them as eyeshadow. You can use them as blush. You can even place them on your lips to add a little more color. So I love anything I can use like all in one and just take this on vacation.
What is it called again? Kilowatt?
It's Fenty Beauty, and they have several kilowatt palettes.
Kilowatt palettes.
So what I'm using today is I'm using a kilowatt palette, and it has Sangria Sunset on one side, which is pink, and then they have another one, Mimosa Sunrise, which is on the other side, and it's kind of like an orangey popsicle kind of color.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, they're really beautiful colors. So don't be scared. You can still use them. So what I'm going to do is like tap my brush into the pink one, and I'm just going to lightly put that all over your, and the other thing is, people are like, oh, I don't know how to apply eyeshadow. I don't know what to do. Look, you see what I'm doing here? I'm just putting this all over.
Like
I'm not
painting?
even like being precise, right? You're just like putting it all over.
It's just like painting, basically.
It's like, yeah, exactly. Oh, that's good. I'm gonna have to use that in my tutorial.
You can have it.
Yes, it's like painting. That's all you're doing. You're just putting it all over. All right, so I'm gonna have Roxanne open so you can see what that did, right? Like just adds like a little bit of pop, and people are like, ooh, what she got on her eyes, right? So then, if you're extra like me, I go into the other side because I want to be a little extra. Why not? Gotta be a little extra.
A little bit.
So all I'm doing, so notice what I'm doing, I'm just putting that on the end. I'm not even going all the way in, just on the end. So I'm gonna have her open her eyes so you can see what that did to that eye, right? Just added like a little bit extra. So again, you can see here, I'm just patting it here. Don't worry, and don't worry if you get too much of this. You're like, ooh, I got too much on there on my brush. You see how I did that time, and it just kind of just worked its way in. So this is beautiful right there, just the way it is, right? So all she has to do is apply mascara, and she's good to go with the eyes.
Nice.
Now you're saying, oh, I like to put stuff underneath my eyes. You can still do that, but I would say just be careful, especially when you're doing, if it's a black liner, because you don't want to like do too much and look, what's the look?
I'm gonna hold you because that's good. I want to make sure that our listeners hear that.
Oh, okay.
The plane's going around, but Say it again. So
if you're like, oh, I always put something underneath my eyes, you can still do that. I would encourage you to try like a brown liner. I feel like a brown liner is just, it doesn't get the respect that it deserves. And I really love a good brown liner. I don't have one with me today, but just use any kind of brown liner. Go to the grocery store, Walgreens, and just get anything. Revlon, you know, L'Oreal, anything will work. And just put a little brown liner underneath, right? And then take like a small, tiny brush and just kind of blend it in. So you don't want it too like cakey, and you don't want to bring it too far down. You just need a little bit. Again, always a little bit goes a long way. That's your new word. That's your new word, Roxanne.
My new mantra. A little bit goes a long way.
A little bit goes a long way. All right, so then the next step we're gonna do is you're gonna add a little bit of blush. So again, I'm using the same palette. Oh. I'm taking my brush, and I'm just doing a little bit. So then people are like, I don't know how to apply blush, right? So all I'm doing is make a little smile. So make a little smile in the mirror, and you see that? I put that blush right there, and now I'm just gonna go up with it. Right? See how nice that looks? So compare this to this side. So she's got just a little pop of color, but it's not too crazy, right? So the same thing, make a little smile.
Like the apples?
Yeah, just right there. And I almost like to, I think if you do like the circle motions, you can't go wrong. To me, that's foolproof, right? And so again, same palette. She wants a little highlight. I'm gonna take this other color.
That's the orange color?
That's the orange color. And I'm just gonna put it right there at the top. So people are like, I don't know how to do highlighter. Yes, you do. So all you're gonna do is, you see where the blush is right there? So turn this a little bit more. Where the blush is right there. So I'm gonna take my brush and just do that right over it. Now, Rihanna has even made it easier for you. She has her own highlight brush.
What? Riri
so
strikes
you see
again.
how this brush just hugs you? See how it hugs right there? That's exactly where your highlighter needs to go, right? So I'm gonna dip my brush here, tap it off a little bit, and then I'm gonna just right there, just hug that part of where I put the blush, and I'm just gonna go up, back and forth.
Like a windshield wiper.
So now you can kind of see, compared to the other side, how she just has like a little bit of highlight going on and a nice little glow. Right, so I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Tap off my brush a little bit. I'm gonna hug right there where I put the blush and just go up. So again, it also blends in with the blush, which is nice because they both work together. And just give it like a nice little highlight. See? Now, if you want to get crazy, like maybe at night you want a little glow, it's okay to like kind of just take a little bit.
Oh.
See how it's not going to be like a lot? You see just kind of just a little bit? It's ever so subtle, right? And so you can just kind of put that up there. Just add a little bit. Yeah. And so now for lips. Now you're done. Again, I'm going to use the same palette. I can't get enough of this. I just love it. So you want a little bit of pop. You're like, I can't wear pink.
I was about to say,
right?
what on my lips?
Yep. You're going to put a little bit on your lips. Just a tiny bit. Just a little bit. Okay, so see how I have that there? Now you're going to take your gloss. You can use whatever gloss you want. I like Fenty Beauty, the Gloss Bomb, but you can use whatever gloss you want. Just put it right over it. You know what? You could even use your favorite like chapstick or lip moisturizer.
Doesn't matter.
You could it doesn't matter.
It
You
smells
just want
good,
something.
though.
You want something to give you a nice shine.
This one smells good though.
And the pink is just giving you a nice pop of color.
Nice.
So see how that, I just rubbed something there. So see how it just gives you like a nice, see? It looks like she put like pink lipstick on, but she didn't. So, and that's it.
Ta-da! Okay, so
and you're gorgeous.
A couple questions for you because we're doing, of course, the full is going to be online.
Yeah.
But I want to sum up for those who are listening on the podcast. When we get more mature,
yes.
whatever that may be, which
seasoned.
Which could be at any age, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it actually could be. Yeah, it just depends. You know what? I would say when your skin gets more seasoned, right?
Yeah.
Gets more mature. because everybody's skin is different. Like I have a friend, she's like in her early 30s, and she has to apply more concealer than me under her eyes.
Yeah.
So it's just, you have to go by your own skin and how it's developing and how it's maturing.
So let's talk about that. So but there are certain things that you can do to slow down the process. As you mentioned before, genes plays a huge part into it.
Huge part, yeah.
But what are a few things that people can do to slow down the aging process of their skin so that they don't have to do this so quickly?
Start like your skincare routine early. Like if I could go back, I wish I would have started like a super detailed skincare routine back when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
So the earlier the better. Like I had my daughter, she's 21, she came up to me and when she was 18 and says, what do I need to do to my skin so I can look like you when I get older? Right? I was like, you're going to look better than me when you get older because you're starting this now.
I love it. And I do feel like that generation is more conscious about that than we were.
Yeah, they are.
And then other generations were. So a good skincare routine, would you add water to that as well too?
Add water, lots of water. I would add water to that, and I would add vitamins to that.
Vitamins.
Yeah.
Taking like supplements or vitamins. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then washing your face. I know we said regimen, but washing your face.
Don't go to sleep with your makeup on. Don't do it. Don't. It is so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. So try to get in the habit of washing your makeup off. Don't go to sleep with your makeup on. Even if you can't make it to the sink, just at least get a good makeup wipe to wipe all your makeup off.
But get it off.
Yeah.
So once we are in the stage of now we need, just to recap, certain things that run through like all of the different portions is use less.
Yes.
Less is more. Okay. So use less of everything.
Yes.
If you're watching tutorials, I really think that, there may not be a lot of tutorials for people who aren't in their 20s, but find them.
Yeah.
You can go to Ranco Beauty. She's going to show you how to do it so you're not, because I've heard horror stories of, I tried it and the makeup is just, because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Your skin is not the skin of a 20-year-old, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
And it's okay.
Yeah. So just less is more. And if you're one of those people who, you're like, oh, I see all these people with these beautiful eye looks and everything, and you want to do it, less is more. So start with just one color. Start with like a little palette like that, like Fenty Beauty, or even go to like the drugstore and get like one neutral eyeshadow that you like, that you think is cute, and start with that and just do the same stuff that I did.
I love it. So less is more. Any other tips you'd give? That's a big one. I think it goes over.
I guess my thing is like, don't be afraid to try stuff. Right? So like, again, like I'm not like an expert on this. I just do, I do what works for me, and I try to share information that has worked for others that I found out about. So don't be afraid to like try stuff. Like somebody else has trying a green color or whatever, and you're like, oh, I would never do that, but I want to. Try it. It's all in your technique, and it's all in less is more.
I love it. It's an art form, really.
Yeah. Makeup is art. So that's why I love it.
It's living art.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We're going to find you. Thank you for being here, and thanks for being here for my birthday.
And happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm mature and my makeup looks amazing. So RancoBeauty.com, please, or I said, that's right, .com.
You can go to RancoBeauty.com or it's at Ranco Beauty, all my social media.
That's what I was really going for, but then I just
went
all consistent. Find Ranco Beauty. Tonia is amazing. Thank you so much for being here. If you're listening, I would love for you to subscribe, whether you're listening on iTunes or Stitcher or Google Play. Please subscribe and comment, and check out the YouTube channel, because you're going to see what she was actually doing to my face, and you'll get some great tips as well too. Subscribe and like there. Thanks for listening to RoxTalks, and we'll be back next time.